Picture this. You're a sergeant of the Royal Marines, born and raised in Essex. You're closing in on 40. Life's been pretty decent so far. Then one day, the prime lad of the army sends you out to Afghanistan. It's bad. Really bad. Dry, hostile, and unwelcoming. Half of your men don't even really want to be here. And you're not exactly sure what you're supposed to be doing. But what's even worse, no beans with toast. One day out on patrol, you spot two dogs engaging in a lightly heated argument. Seeing as they're disturbing your sacred allotted tea time, you decide to step in and break up their scuffle. One of the dogs scurries away, whilst the other calms down and sits down next to you. Next thing you know, you've been walking on patrols and other assignments for the past however many days, and the dog is still following you around. Maybe your deployment doesn't seem too bad after all. Your time in Afghanistan comes to an end, and you decide to take the dog with you. An uplifting end to an otherwise unsavory part of your life. You are this man, Paul Penn Farthing, the soul behind creating the Nowzad Dogs Charity Fund, named after the town in which Farthing met his canine companion. The charity reunites servicemen with the dogs and cats who befriended them on service following the soldiers' return home. It also aids animal welfare in Afghanistan and built the first animal rescue center in the country. In addition to reuniting ex-servicemen with dogs and cats they knew from Afghanistan, Farthing through Nowzad has rescued animals to be adopted by members of the public once they are brought to the UK. However, despite benevolent efforts, 2021 will prove to be the most difficult year of the charity to date.
After the turbulence that has followed since the Taliban were handed back the power of Afghanistan on the 15th of August 2021, the Nowzad charity has worked extremely hard to re-establish their operations in Kabul. Few days after fall of Kabul to the Taliban, Farther's supporters raised money for privately chartering flight to evacuate his staff as well as the animals sheltered by his charity. Visas for 68 people, including the staff of the charity and their immediate family members, were granted on the 23rd of August, and the safe passage from Kabul was available to them at this point. The animals, that's 170 dogs and cats, were allowed to be evacuated on the 25th as well. They were however forced to leave without entering the airport on the 26th of August, since the United States government has modified the rules for getting inside the compound shortly after they arrived there. Farthing left Afghanistan along with the animals on the 28th, with the British forces helping in loading them on a plane, and the animals were later sent to the quarantine kennels. Some of the staff who stayed behind and have continued through what have been absolutely hellish transition period have looked after the donkeys and the horses, while Farthing began plans to re-establish their operations. Many a times, Taliban have opened the doors of the Nowzad clinic and the house, demanding to search through the whole property, as they have done to every house across the Afghanistan, to look for resistance, resulting in losing equipment and supplies for the animals. The Afghan ground team, led by extremely brave Dr. Rashad, have reopened the Nowzad clinic, and the first clients were very quickly coming through the door. They have had a steady stream of working animal clients, particularly overworked donkeys struggling with wounds from ill-fitting saddles or lack of sustainable daily nutrition. Sadly, Nowzad been on the ropes ever since the old TNVR programs did close when the Taliban retook Afghanistan, and they are still seeking permission to restart the local programs. Nowzad opened new buildings just 3 days before the Taliban regained control, so sadly they've never been used. But now Nowzad is once more standing, small but strong, in Kabul.